Trying to find the minutes. Took us a little bit. We got it.
Good.
Yeah,
Does
I
that
didn't.
match up? You didn't get it.
That
one
I
just
didn't
came
check
in.
the email
Same one.
yesterday.
Well,
So.
this one just came in, I think, this morning.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely
Two
didn't.
copies.
Then.
Yeah.
Do you have the most recent one?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Do you have an extra one?
I got it. That just has.
So but you have to like get the
Right,
the most
it's
recent.
the same
Yeah.
link though. I thought that was.
Yeah, that's the West End was.
I'm not sure.
Here you go. This
I
is
think
where
it
we
was.
are.
Okay.
It
Thank
doesn't
you.
have the attachments. But I have extra. We can pass these around if we need the attachments. We're good. Rock and roll.
It is 8:31. I'm going to call this meeting of the Utilities Commission for July 11th to order. The clerk may call the roll.
Mr. Sires?
Here.
Mr. Ball?
Here.
Mr. Reinhardt?
Here?
Ms. Dusenberg?
Here.
All right, we have a quorum present. Starting with the agenda, let's look at the minutes from June 6th. Does anybody have any additions or corrections? Hearing none, we'll call for approval of the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll second the motion to approve the minutes.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Move on now to the June adjustment journal. You can see that attached.
I'll make a motion to approve this.
We got a motion.
I'll
Yep.
second it.
Have a second. Mr. Cook, is anything worth noting on the adjustment journal?
Just from the last meeting when Ohio Eastern Star was in, we did manage to get through all of that and get things corrected. We did have a meter that got activated under the wrong account, so you'll see the adjustments there going in both directions, correcting that.
Okay. All right. Are there any questions from the commission? Nope. Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? All right. Moving on. Okay. Moving on to new business. We've got Alan Schaefer, Ben Cook, multi-unit charges. Oh. Yep.
Thank you for allowing us to come today. Appreciate it. We're here about property at 110 South Main Street. We acquired some time back. And as we looked at what to do there, we evaluated and obviously decided to renovate the first floor for a commercial rental tenant. And the initial plans were to use the second and third floor as a possible entrance into our property that MVU owns on just north of that in the Nice building, where it would encompass, cutting a doorway and breaking through into those two levels. As Ben and his team, he oversees facilities at the campus. I do business services and oversee the commercial rents. As they proceeded to look at the architectural drawings and things like that, we realized the floor levels are quite different, a couple feet different between those two floors, and so it really wasn't a good, viable use for us at this point in time. We have architectural drawings. We have a notice from the state, who's the state inspector, looking at our plans, saying, what are you going to do with the second and third floor access, ingress and egress for emergency, and a letter from our architect saying that we're not planning to use those second and third floors. So we thought that was kind of the end of it. We kind of shelved the second and third floor after Ben's project, gutted the electric and the water on those two levels, also took it down to just bare studs in those two levels. So we recently rented out the first space to Willow Creek Flower Shop, which you might have seen driving down through there. And when she got her first water bill, she's like, Alan, what's going on? It's like $170 we just have two sinks and a toilet in there. And I didn't know either. That was our first use of the property for a full month. So I called the water department. They explained that because of the three levels, it had originally been zoned, and there were three charges going on to that one meter. And I said, well, we're not planning to use the second and third floor, and so it was recommended we come and explain the situation here, ask for a change in the way that meter was billed to go down to only the first floor use, and so there'd be one charge going on to that meter instead of three levels. So that's the basic situation, is we're not planning to use the second and third floor. They're gutted. As far as engineering expansion, with the new property going into the news building and the use that's planned for MVNU expanding into that, there's no viable reason for us to consider using the second and third floor there in the foreseeable future. Now, we know things can change, 5, 10 years from now, different administration comes in, wants to do something different. But we see our expansion going to the news building and not into that space there. It just economically doesn't make sense. We'd have to raise the level of the floor and do a lot of, and we just don't need the space at this point. And renovating it for a tenant apartment use isn't worth changing the flooring and adding the water and electric back into that floor. So essentially, we're planning to use the first floor, and we'd like to have the billing on that meter adjusted, so we're just billed for one tenant in that property.
Okay, does everybody understand the situation and essentially the request?
So you have one water meter for the building.
Correct,
What
yes.
size is it?
I'm sorry,
What size is the water meter?
It's a 5/8.
Okay,
to that.
there we go. I don't have the regulations handy, but typically that's something by the way it used to happen is the water department would do an inspection, see that the utilities are basically unhooked, and then that's an administrative change.
Okay,
But that's something we need to rewrite a lot of that, make it clearer.
okay,
That's how it used to be done, but it may not be how it's stated in the rules.
okay. So how about how about you guys do an inspection on that, how we've done it in the past? And then we will, like we've done with staggered fees, we'll rewrite the rules.
So that is how we practice. So we do an inspection, and the way it's written is the inspection.
Here to the
yeah,
mic.
excuse me. The inspection requires that all secondary passes or separations are removed, and then the utilities director actually has the final authority to remove the unit charges, which is what those are. So there's still steps and everything separating those units, and that's the only reason why I was like, okay, well, that's outside of the normal, and that's why I suggested they come over here.
Okay.
So,
All right, that's
That sounds
I'm
good.
not saying it's unreasonable, the request, I'm just following the rules and our normal practices.
Yeah, like
Sure.
I said, I didn't have it with me. Okay,
Yeah.
I will make a motion, I will make a motion to approve this request to adjust this account to 1 unit.
Okay. Anything else needed from us? Sorry.
They have to,
Yep,
he's made a motion.
I got you, yes, got you.
I can second that motion.
All right, we got a motion and a second.
I do have an additional question for you. Is the tenant paying the stormwater fee? for the
Pardon
building?
me?
Who's paying, are you
The
paying?
tenant is paying it. We paid it, we paid the bill that was in question just so they weren't stuck with a higher charge with the idea that if it was adjusted, we'd readjust it, but they are paying the meter charge.
So they'll pay the water, wastewater, and stormwater?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And then Brad, you have all the paperwork you need to show that they have a lease agreement so that everything's being billed to the,
I don't have that.
okay.
I
So
can
you'll
get
need to
that.
have you'll need to have a file of, you'll need to drop your lease off to say tenant will pay stormwater, all utilities, so that
Sure,
Brad can properly address that. So we're not sending 2 bills out.
Sure.
Because
right.
the way the rules are a little wonky, a lot of times the owners require, if you have a multi-complex, the owner typically pays a stormwater fee. And
Yeah, okay.
there's a lot of different scenarios. So just try to clean this all up in one take. Okay, no more questions.
Are we able to, or is it, Rob, are we able to clean that up the way that we cleaned up the staggered fees?
What do you mean exactly, though?
So, Brian, maybe we don't need to.
No, I
we
don't think
want
that
to.
I don't think there's any, I think the current rules as they're written are appropriate.
Okay.
What we're doing here is something beyond the rules because, as Brad said, their system is a little different than anticipated by the rules. So
Okay.
changing the rules for this one thing, I don't think is appropriate or necessary.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah, because of the staircase, they need to be able to get in and inspect these areas. So if they're still connected, you don't want homeless people moving in.
Sure.
You don't want to board it up to meet our rules and then have people breaking in. So they still need to have access to those other floors.
Right. And we don't anticipate any other situations with downtown development. We don't have to build any sort of caveats into.
No.
Okay.
Well, how does it work though? Is it, when it's initially set up, is it zoned as multiple units in some way, or is it, and that's how we know to set it up as multiple units? I'm just curious about how.
Well, it depends. I mean, there's all these different scenarios, right? So for the longest time, we encourage people to put 1 meter per complex.
Sure.
And then as the concept of condominiums happens, that doesn't work
Of course.
because one person's, an absentee user and the other one's there all the time, one's using more water, and it creates fighting in these HOA condos. So like the lofts apartment, those were redone. We went from 3 meters to 21.
Right.
So each unit has an individual meter, but it would have been 21 units on 3 meters
Yeah.
because of the rules that you're paying a unit charge.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, when someone develops a piece of property, we want them to bring us a plan, and then we process that plan in the permitting.
Right.
But
Okay.
this is existing, they're not building new.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's kind of,
There's no reason to charge them 3 units when they're only using one.
absolutely.
This is just a weird caveat about how you access the staircase and stuff, right, Brad?
Correct.
Yep,
Yeah, if there's a door at the top of the steps, that's a separate unit, right?
yep.
Got it.
And that rule is written for houses, right? So if you took, one of our houses and you split it, you'd have to unsplit it to get down to 1 unit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That means removing that connection.
Very good.
Works for me. Any other questions? Nope. All right. Clerk can call the roll.
Mr. Sires,
Yes.
Mr. Ball,
Yes.
Mr. Reinhardt,
Yes?
Ms. Bisenberg.
Yes.
All right. Motion carries, and work with Brad on that one.
Will do.
Thank you.
very much.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thomas Underwood, leak forgiveness and payment plan. All right. Mr. Underwood is not present. We do have the information available, but I believe it is our standard practice to move on if the individual is not here. So we will go on to Mr. Montgomery, leak forgiveness and payment plan. Who's also not here.
Do we, I know that Brad probably does tell them, do we have a formal way of notifying them that they're on the docket, that they need to be present, and should we do so?
We should probably do so, and I'll tell you why. Because Mrs. Guillermo, you are not on the agenda, but you are here. Yeah. So,
You told me I was on the agenda today.
I did not tell you you were on the agenda.
You said you were gonna table
But-
it till next meeting.
Right, but I do not put the agenda together. So, however, I did pursue all the information that I told you we would. So you can come up. I'm gonna ignore the agenda, and you can come up since you're here. So, that's a good point, and we need to look into some
I
sort of-
I would agree with that. As a member of Mount Vernon City, lack of communication is big. To notify someone that they're on the docket and that they have to be present is kind of crucial. Because everyday citizens are not familiar how you guys work, so, yeah. Okay, I am back again, to talk about, the sewer got backed up into my house. Your insurance company denied it, said they weren't gonna pay for it, and I'm here to get the damages, paid for.
Let me bring up, because I contacted our insurance company.
Remind us of your address, since we don't.
5 Adamson Street,
Yep. I know
it's on
about
the
where you-
south end.
Yeah, I know. I knew about where you were. Just,
And I just got a curious question, who's in charge of the docket? Of putting people on the docket?
So, if Brad, if you want to come up and explain how
The billing office is who takes that request.
yeah,
So usually we'll get a call and then we'll let people know what the rules are and we'll get them added to the docket. So that's my.
So you're
office.
part of that?
I am responsible for the.
Okay,
agenda,
so
yeah.
I got a curious question. You knew I was present in last meeting and that it was tabled for me, so that way everyone can have this information. Why didn't you not add me to the
So
docket?
my understanding is that you went and had a conversation afterwards and I was waiting for an update.
so
So I
I'm going to
didn't-
take responsibility for that then.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I did reach out to all the appropriate people.
Uh-huh.
And I understand that you and Josh are of a different opinion.
I don't know that I have an opinion.
Okay,
I had asked, what I had asked for was a complete record.
okay.
That's all that I asked for, which we
Okay.
have not,
So,
that's what we're up for.
right, so I contacted PEP, which is our insurer. Okay. And I said, Ryan, are you able to send me a more detailed explanation of the denial of a WIB, which is a water and basement claim for Maria Guillermo, the property at 5 Adamson Street in Mount Vernon, Ohio? And he said, Tanner, Josh explained that it was foreign objects, specifically tree roots in the line which led to the clog. The line was not collapsed. There were no photos of the clog, and it had not been a repeat issue. Thank you. That was the reason for the denial.
But it was on your guys' line.
And I'm gonna have to defer to Mr. Reinhardt for the explanation on that.
He gives the statement to Maureen, I think.
Yeah, we have the full report in the office, which, since I didn't see on the agenda, that's why I don't have it, but I can get Maureen to bring it over to me.
Yeah,
Yep,
let's go get
it's
it.
laying on the front of my desk.
Yeah, that was not on my line. That was on your guys' line.
Well,
One second.
I'm gonna take a bathroom break. Good opportunity for it.
There it is. Thank you.
Copy here.
I think you're gonna have to, you two are gonna have to take a look at that.
Let's make copies. Did your insurance company pay you this $5,000?
Yeah, they gave me $5,000. That was it. That doesn't even cover half of what the professional cleaning company costs to be able to clean the house and get all the contaminated stuff out of my house. It was a mess.
We have Josh's packet. You know where it is?
It was sent to PEP. PEP did not provide their full
Could you
denial.
print that out? Can Maureen print that?
PEP did not send the full denial. PEP sent a statement. That's the problem.
We have what we sent
I do not. I can contact Maureen.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go get, because I need, we don't have that part of it. So, yeah, Rob, go see if you can get that for us. Great. Well, while we're doing that,
Let's skip down to the,
give this to Ms. Berg, because she would like to, we'll also need to read
Yeah.
through that while we're, you want to go to the next step in the agenda and then come right back?
well, hold on. Yeah, let's do that, and then I'm gonna. Yeah. If you wanna have a seat for a second, and then
Yeah,
we're gonna
let's
skip
get, we're
down.
going to get this record in this room.
Yeah.
That's my,
Yeah.
we're gonna go get it right now.
So, we'll skip down to the West End Sanitary Replacement Project Engineering.
Yes, so as many of you may recall, we've applied for a community development block grant focusing on the north of High Street part of the West End, so railroad tracks, levee. One of the key components to that project is putting in a new sanitary sewer. That area has had multiple issues, and one of the requests has been to
She's attempting to get that post-haste.
okay. So the idea is we've done quite a bit of preliminary design, but we need to do the detailed design. This would be, the construction period would be January 1st, 2025 to August 1st, 2026. So if we want to meet those, we need to design the project. It's a larger effort, so we would basically ask that we go to council and recommend that CEC, Civil and Environmental Consultants, do the design for us. So, questions, and I'll put a motion.
Just for the layman, can we explain what this is?
So your sanitary sewer was a combined storm sewer, so it was put in anywhere from -2% to +3%. So for it to work correctly, Aaron's guys have to go out there and flush it because it's no longer legally allowed to be hooked to the storm system. So the way it was designed in the, I don't know, 1800s-ish, is the rain would flush the sewage out of it. And so it's a bit too flat and it's in poor condition. We have the opportunity in this neighborhood to get federal aid to help with a multitude of things. So the neighborhood projects require us to do 7 different things. So had the great opportunity to sit in on several of these public meetings. So that's sidewalks, that's storm drains, 2 fire hydrants, a whole bunch of pickleball courts, and sanitary work. And then there was, yeah, that's 5. So I think there's a couple other small things that are playground equipment that we're working on a grant from the MRDD folks. So it's a big picture project, but one of the key components is the largest part of it will be the sanitary sewer. And so that's where we would want to reach into Aaron's pocket over here and start getting that design rolling. So we're not, we're not ready to start that today, but the idea is we're just making a recommendation to council, 3 to 6 readings, or want to disclude any emergency clauses or whatever you feel comfortable with. We would give you time to deliberate on it.
I have some neighbors that would be very upset if we do that, I think.
Put in a new sanitary sewer.
No, if we drag it out.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's up to you. It's totally up to you.
Yeah, no, that's something I'm excited to hear. I never actually really thought that I'd say I was excited about a sanitary system, but
Yeah.
I am. That would be great for that area, so.
Well, and the replacement, just for the public, would extend outside of North, because the discharge area is at Gambier. So we would have to start at Gambier and relay the sewer at a flatter slope. So to be able to get all the way to Riverside Park,
Right.
the designated. Now, we're not doing, at this point, we're not doing a complete replacement. We have done a risk-based analysis, and we're looking to replace the worst section. But when we get the north-south trunk line installed, that creates the opportunity to do multiple phases of work systematically, and eventually replace the whole system. But this is the beginning of the beginning.
Yep.
Is the grant geographically limited so that
Yep.
basically we can only do that part anyway under the grant dollars?
Right, well, so the challenge is, not really a challenge, but there's an opportunity. So north of High Street is under HUD. South of High Street, we have the US EPA grant that we're working on.
Got
So
it.
I don't know that sanitary would fall into that, but the two areas qualify separately for different pots of federal money. So we would treat this as one design, north, a little bit of the south and a good bit of the north, and then we'll shop around for federal aid, and they'll say yes. So, okay, I'll make a motion that we make a recommendation to council to hire civil and environmental consultants to design a replacement sanitary sewer system in the west end of town.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, the clerk may call the roll.
Mr. Sires,
Yes.
Mr. Ball,
Yes.
Mr. Reinhardt,
Yes?
Ms. Busenberg.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Moving on now to old business. We have the Ohio Eastern Star home late fees.
So as I mentioned with the adjustment journal, we actually did find that we had activated that account under the wrong, or the meter under the wrong account, so we got that corrected. They will have 5 once the assisted living, I think independent living
Ideal.
site opens up, so then we'll get it corrected. But we've moved the charges and the money properly, they've made the payment, everything's settled at this point in time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great work.
All right. Moving on to staggered fees draft. Do we have the draft in an attachment?
I don't have the most recent draft.
Okay.
I have the original, but I understand that there were some corrections made to them, so I didn't have it to put on
You say
as the example.
talking about tap-in fees or the monthly fees?
It's the draft for what we did on North Mulberry Street
Yeah.
for allowing
Yeah, so-
water to be
Oh,
connected
After
before.
the,
Yeah,
after the Madison thing, we decided to actually craft a policy as opposed to just doing it.
right. And I think that you and Lacey had offered some. I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen other than when I.
Yeah, I think we sent comments back, and then we're testing, we just ran the first few through the process to test it. So did you get the 2 emails from the test? We ran 1 water and 1 wastewater.
Through iWork.
Yeah, through iWork.
Yeah, I believe we did receive the tests there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should just verify that what the computer system allows us to do matches what we're saying. So maybe we keep that on old business. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll keep that, and in the next, oh, that's all right. There it is. Good timing.
Okay.
So we'll keep that in old business, and then next meeting, we'll make sure to have an actual attachment of the draft.
Right. Do you know who has the latest draft? Whoever has the latest draft, I'll get it put on there. I just don't. I checked in my email, and I think you meant to send it to me, and I think it was still the old version because I went and looked at it last night and was going to put it on, and I'm like, oh, this is still the original.
We'll
so.
find it.
Let me make
Okay.
sure, because I know Lacey had several comments.
Yeah, there was
And-
some. I know there was some red writing on it for some suggested changes, and I don't have that copy, so I wasn't able to attach it.
Okay.
So, sorry about that.
No, that's fine. We think we're a little ways out from another condo, but we want to be ready when
Yeah.
the next one happens.
Yeah, this is not a crisis, but we'll
Yep.
get it done. Thank you. All right, now we have it. I knew there was an email.
There we go.
I could not find it, but
Monday,
here it is.
June 10th.
Yeah, so this is, all right. So this is from Josh Belts. After speaking with Derek, who was the head guy for this call, this is what happened. Derek received a call from our office about a sewer backup at 5 Adamson. He checked upstream and downstream manholes to determine if there was a flow and a non-issue on the city side. Derek then received a call from the engineer saying their plumber cleaned their lateral and said there were roots in our main line. Derek and crew then took the sewer truck and ran a jetter head up the main line and could not get through the roots. They determined that the blockage was under a tree. Our crew then switched to a root cutter head, which got stuck around the same spot. We dug up the line and replaced it with a new stretch of pipe and recovered our rooter head. Finally, our crew pushed camered the line, and the
Push
main-
camera. There's no comma.
Okay.
It's
Push
one
camered-
piece of equipment.
Pushed camered the line. All right, got it. The main is clear. The main is clear up past the lateral to 5 Adamson. I hope you all know what's going on because I'm confused. All right. It is my belief she had a problem at some point. Had it cleared, and then while our crew was rooting and cleaning the main line, we pushed sewer back into her lateral and house.
So the question is, did the insurance company get this?
Whose insurance company?
Our
Ours?
insurance. Yes.
I would assume so for them to have denied it. Because they said that it was a roots problem, correct? So,
Well, they said it was a root problem on her property, is what they said. Right? I don't know. Come back up. Let's have a discussion.
Yeah, the insurance company was not very nice. They basically told me it's my problem, and even though I was present when your workers came to dig up the line.
No, let's review. The
Okay.
line, from your perspective, what did they dig up?
What did they dig up? A collapsed line. When they dug it up, it was collapsed.
Where was it?
It was on your guys' line down the alley, right
Okay.
beside my house. It was not on my line. I got pictures.
No, I think we just need to, we gotta clarify.
And I
this.
mean, your jet line was stuck.
Yeah.
It literally was stuck. They had to dig it up in order to get it out.
So when we say stuck, it was stuck in the city
City line,
sewer.
not mine.
Right. What the insurance company is saying is that this was stuck in the individual's line, when I read their documents.
so it's Ryan Keefe from our insurance company says, Josh explained, which would imply that Josh has spoken to them.
Or he's got this June 10th email.
Yeah. He explained that it was foreign objects, specifically tree roots, in the line which led to a clog. The line was not collapsed.
So it sounds as though that the issue that they're raising is not whose line it's on, is that what is the basis of the blockage? Is that, at least without reading the policy, and it seems to be the implication is that if the line had collapsed, they would cover it, but they do not cover foreign objects in the line. That's the implication from the note from the insurance company. We will have to review the policy itself to see what the actual language says. Because it doesn't actually, because after reading everything together, it's not talking about where the blockage is. It says there's a blockage in the line caused by tree roots, not a collapsed line, as I'm reading his declination letter.
Where's this bigger stack?
Oh, sorry, I got it right here.
Yeah, bring that back.
See what the front letters.
I think it may be a misunderstanding of the.
Well, nonetheless, I mean, you guys put a jet line and backed sewer up into my house.
Negligence. Say that it's negligence.
Yeah,
Going through a reasonable process. Yeah, and see, I think they're going off of this, you know, this.
City's collapsed line.
They're saying
Yeah.
this statement is untrue.
But what Mr. Ball is noting is that in your original claim to the city,
Uh-huh.
you said it was a collapsed line.
Because that's what it was, and that's what the workers said too.
So,
The workers that dug up the line, they're like, yeah, it's a collapsed line.
Do you have pictures of it collapsed?
Unfortunately, no, I don't. All I have is pictures of them digging it up.
so
You know, Josh has pictures, or,
Josh wasn't present. It was the,
Okay, he was out of
there was like
town,
4
actually.
workers there.
So, yeah. So the question is, what does our insurance cover? You know, and what's the claim? You know, I don't know, I wasn't there.
Yeah, I
And
don't have
so
the copy of
we,
the insurance
and
policy.
Yeah.
we don't I don't have a copy of the policy. We don't know what the,
Is there a reconsideration that we can trigger with the insurance to say, like, you know, this cover letter, like a couple sentences, it doesn't have like,
Yeah.
it doesn't reference like part 68 of the policy, blah, 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 like,
Yeah, no, you can always resubmit to an insurer. The denial's never final.
but do we have a way, the sheet have to do that, or can we
We-
just
we
call
would
the
do that.
insurance and say, hey, we need to review this?
Because this was back in January.
I think that we could either start with Michael.
Right, so, yeah, that's.
And
good.
Michael was CC'd on the email with Ryan, so he's aware that this is still
Yeah.
active.
Right, so Aaron has a good point. The denial letter is 4/1/2024, and then the statement of what happened is 6/10/2024.
That was to me. So
Right.
that was me reinitiating the conversation.
So then, this denial happened before the investigation of what happened.
However, Ryan is just, in the commentary that's coming back to me, Ryan is just commenting on what Josh said back on in January.
Right, so then has he re-denied, read that part again.
So,
We don't have that.
what
document.
I have requested is, are you able to send me a more detailed explanation of the denial of the WIB from Maria Guillermo on 5 Adamson Street? So basically, he's just going back on why they denied it back in January. It's not this is new information situation.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, the more full description there is at odds with the declination of coverage. So we need to figure out what exactly they're actually doing, especially based upon this most recent letter or the email from Josh as to what actually happened.
So let me see the denial for a minute.
yep.
There's no evidence of negligence on our behalf. Yeah, so they were not very.
But we should also
Detailed.
cover other things
But-
besides negligence, right?
Yeah.
well,
But typically in a denial, we don't go into finer details. If anything, they just cite a
Yeah, they
a
cite
numbered
potentially
section.
one thing and then
Yeah.
whether there are other things. So we need to follow up with the insurance company based upon this statement from
Well,
Josh.
We need to determine specifically what happened, and if we are assuming liability, then we explain to the insurer why we are assuming the
Why,
liability.
yeah.
And under our insurance policy, why it would be covered. So we need to talk to Josh and confirm that if in fact, we are liable, you just need to make that case to Ryan, because Ryan with PEP is under the assumption that if it's just tree lines or tree roots and we don't cover tree roots, which we don't because I had to pay for it.
Yeah, but
Then-
that's only in the lateral
Sure.
from the main line.
Right.
If
And
it's
if
in
that's
the
the
main line-
situation, yeah.
Right, so these roots are in, so the thing you have, in this neighborhood, the sewer, the public sewer is in, same thing with the west end. It's in the alleyways or the back lots. But not the south end does not have an alley. Some of these are, wooded fences.
Sure.
They're not, it's only sewer, it's not sewer, because is that correct? You don't have an alley behind your house, or do you?
Technically, how it's set up, yes, there's an alley beside my house and behind.
But
No
is it-
one uses it though.
Right, but it's not like the west end where they're gravelled and trafficked, right?
Correct. And technically, if you look at the land
Right.
of how the parcels are, it is there, but no one uses it.
Yeah, so this alley is, we don't trim the trees, we don't do that, so that you have trees and sewer and sort of backyard public space. So, now, I guess the question, so were you home when they were working on this?
No, I walked into my house smelling like sewer.
So it wasn't, the other important fact, right? Was anyone else home?
We were at work.
Right, so the fact that if say, in a scenario where an individual lateral collapsed or is clogged with roots, you're in the house using water, flushing the toilet, your water ends up in your basement. Is that what happened for you?
Yes.
Right. What I think what I'm envisioning is that she's at work, the water that ended up in her basement did not originate from her water meter. So that is an important fact that the insurance company needs to understand. It's not that they had, people using the facilities and then the basement filled up with water. They're not there. This is a backflow, a sewer backflow into the house. So that is different than, like in my case, if my septic tank were to fill up, it's going to stay in my house, right? For you, you have roots in your lateral that you own, your water is not going to leave your property. But I think there's this distinct difference between this is public sewer going backwards into her house versus water that went through her water meter going into her house.
So, well, then we need a
Yes.
full detailed report from our team that we need to send to the insurance company. If it is indeed covered by our insurer, then we will pay out.
Okay,
And if
well,
it's not-
I just want you to know that's fine, but I also have receipts from having to replace my stuff in the bathroom.
Okay, well, then that will be covered. That's part of the payout.
Right,
of
they
the
don't
insurance
have
company.
that because I said something to the insurance guy and he's like, well, you might as well wait because I don't know if I'm going to approve this.
Well,
So he never took it.
All right.
Well, can we get a copy? Do you have that with you?
Yes, I do. I just wanted to, if you guys are going to go down this avenue.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. You need to
Basically-
submit everything and if you come down to the safety service office, get Marine's card and submit everything to that. If you can scan it and email it to that
Why
way
don't
there's a
we
record.
make a copy
Yeah, why don't we make that?
right
We'll
now
just-
and
we'll
the
make
copy
cop-
your.
I got it
email?
with me. You guys
Oh,
can
you
make
have-
copies.
Most
What
of them
okay.
are probably.
Yeah, most of them are already
there.
there.
In here, then
Most
we-
of them are in there. I think she's saying she has more beyond what's in there
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, because
Right.
you told me to bring those receipts from me
Okay.
having to replace the stuff in the bathroom.
Right.
Because
Well, then-
it was down to the subfloor
Okay. Well,
and having children.
got it. If you have those receipts,
Mm-hmm.
then make a copy and we can scan those. That way we have a permanent copy.
Yeah.
And then we will get those all to the insurer if they're gonna cover it. Then that's how that'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, can I ask a question? I feel like we should make a motion. Is it appropriate to make a motion that
I-
have our insurance company reconsider this claim?
Well,
It's,
I mean, at this point, we're just going to we're going to have,
it's administrative. It's not.
yeah, we're just
Okay.
going to go and have, that we're going to resubmit the claim with the additional information about where the blockage was and what led to the water coming into there is that, you know, the blockage was in the main line, not her lateral, and the water was from the utilities operations.
Yeah.
So,
I think the example or the explanation that he gave is I think the critical thing here is that you're not there. Water showed up that wasn't yours, and we were the team
ones.
executing it.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Right, I tried to explain that to the insurance company, but
the insurance company is on our side.
any insurance company doesn't want to pay for anything, let's be honest.
Yeah. So anyway, and they're gonna read the policy as strictly as they can.
So, and
So
I think what we would request as the commission is that we get a copy of the policy. That everybody
well, I'm
on
sure
this-
we have a copy of the policy.
I do
somewhere.
not,
Yeah. Well,
but
the
somewhere,
safety service
Yep.
office should have a copy of the policy. If it doesn't, then it needs a copy of the policy.
I think
So.
we would like to have a copy of that.
And I'm sure Michael has a copy of the policy, so, yeah.
Aaron, is there any written procedure or anything for your folks on the process for clearing the main line? I mean, I'm just wondering, is there a way to prevent, as you're sending those augers through those lines to,
Kind of,
yeah,
yeah, everyone's kind of different
okay,
circumstance, depending on what the blockage is and.
okay. I was
Well,
wondering if that would be something to
ball
include, but it
lines
sounds like
are-
it's not anything in writing. Okay.
Also, my house is the very last one at the end of the line. So when you go in the alley, obviously my house is like right here, and it's a short line that connects to the city. And down here is for like the backflow, and the manhole cover is down in the back of the alley. So when you open up that manhole cover, if the blockage is before that manhole cover, you're not going to see that it's backed up. Is there any way you can put a manhole cover at the other end, at like the beginning of the alley in my driveway, so that way, if something like this does happen again, you can open that one too to see like, hey, there's a backage, there's some kind of blockage or whatever going on between this manhole cover and this manhole cover, so that way I won't have that problem again.
Give me a second, that's I have
Well,
to look
actually,
at the map.
they open up both manhole covers on either side. of
But
the
I
alley.
don't have two manhole covers.
Well, so the EPA guidance is like 300 to 600 feet, so we can look and see if kind of like we talked about the west end. The west end is not built to the current EPA/10 state standards. That's where we're having some problems. Now, I have not, let me look. Find you.
And sticking a camera down the line to see what's going on before you set a jet line down there would probably be more helpful too. Because just sending down the jet line without knowing what's going on can cause obviously serious issues.
So,
So why don't we do this? We know that we need to gather some additional information from you as to the additional damages and additional information from the city, from our from our employees. Let's go and put the package together, send it off, instead of us sitting here guessing as to what's
Well,
happening.
They have, from what I understand, they have this information at our insurer has this information.
Verify.
but they
Well,
denied it before they got the
Yeah,
information.
so we're gonna have to
Like I said, it's-
repackage this information and
That's what,
challenge
yeah,
the.
we
yeah.
just need to, we've got to put together a package, make sure that we have, and us sitting here speculating as to various
Right.
portions of it
So-
isn't a great use of time. So we can go, we're going to put this together in a packet and resubmit it to the insurance company.
Right, I got that. I was just discussing the additional manhole cover
Yeah.
for the where
And that's not gonna be determined today. I mean, that's a,
I was
So-
just putting it out there.
yep.
Let me make sure I understand. So you're 5 Adamson, right?
Yes,
So there's a manhole
in the back of my alley,
in the back of your alley.
behind my house.
There's a manhole at 25. So that's 5 Adamson. 25 is 25. 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 25 four houses away. So sewer is coming from 6 and 5. That the way I'm looking at this. Basically, there would be 2 houses on that. So we may need some clean outs.
On either end of that, yeah.
Yeah, there,
Something to look into.
looks like you're kind of looks like you're at the beginning of the run, so. I have to get the more detailed map, but it looks like 6 Parrot and 5 Adamson are on that manhole. Okay.
All right.
So there's probably some improvements that could be done there.
All right.
And I do see the alleys. Yeah, it's an undeveloped alley.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
All right.
And I have Maria Guillermo, there's no dot in between that, right?
Correct.
For your email, at gmail.com.
Okay.
So we'll CC you in on all these communications that are,
Okay,
All
and
right.
what is your email address so I can be looking for that?
it is MTVSSD,
MTV what?
SSD at mountvernonohio.org.
Is it fully spelled out?
Yep.
MOUNTVERNONOHIO.org.
Huh?
Mount Vernon, Ohio.
All spelled out.
Yeah, I was spelling it out.
Yeah.
Yep. There's no no abbreviating.
All right, so,
Okay. And then this will be on the agenda for the next meeting.
yes.
Okay.
Promise.
Well, well, actually, should it be?
Actually,
It better be.
well, it depends on whether or not we have an answer from the insurance company.
Yeah, I don't know that there would be much of a reason for it to be. So we'll be in communication.
Do you want to put it on the agenda? and
I want
it can
to
be an
know that
update?
this has gotten
Yeah,
closer.
yeah, we'll do that.
If-
It
I
will
mean,
be,
if we
we'll
don't
go
have
ahead
a
and put it on
resolution.
the agenda as an update. And if there's any actual business to do, then we'll just move along if there's nothing to actually do.
Like,
Does that
for
make sense?
example, Brad brought back the update
For
for
the,
Ohio Eastern Star. Aaron and I met with them. We physically went and visited the water meters, verified that,
yeah. And there may, the reason I say this is there may be no action for this commission to take at that point. This can all be handled administratively. You don't have to wait for us to meet and be like, yes.
yeah,
You see
hopefully
what I'm saying?
it's reset through
Yeah,
the
and
insurance
I
company.
surely hope that it does not take an entire month for us to submit the thing. So,
All right.
Okay, so will you guys let me know if I need to be present
yep.
for the next
yep.
meeting?
Yeah, we will CC you in every step of the way. Yep.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere until we get the additional documentation.
Yeah, the scanner has the ability to email, so we can scan it and email if you wish to have a timestamp of the transmission.
All right.
Got it? Okay. No further business? All right, I'll call for adjournment.
I'll motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, stay here.
Great. Only federal pay apps.
All right.
The owner, or this is
Smith?
Smith Paving, Catherine Street. I have 2 of them.
Yeah, I signed one yesterday, I believe.
That was